good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the launch of my book. I thank you for being present here. Some of my colleagues in this gallery, as well as those who are present virtually. On March the 11th last year, the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic of the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And on March 18, in fact, a year ago today, Malaysia started our movement control order, the equivalent of lockdown. Now, medical physics is an integral part of the radiology, nuclear medicine, and radiotherapy, and other specialties in medicine. So our international community have responded immediately, working alongside with the radiologists, oncologists, nuclear medicine specialists, and other specialties in various innovative ways, adjusting the various ways in diagnosis and in therapy. And many have sacrificed a lot in combating this pandemic. And I began to realize that not only has millions of people died because of this infection, also the economic has crumbled, our social fabric of life has been disrupted. So what I observed and discerned and realized that we ought to document, to chronicle our experiences, various challenges, and how we have been struggling to work alongside with clinical colleagues. So on July 30th, I contacted Rebecca Davis of the CRC Press in United Kingdom, proposing to her, hey, how about a book to document our experiences, challenges, what we have been doing, how we work with different specialties in clinical medicine in combating this pandemic. And then August 18th, and the proposal came. It was a record time. I was very surprised. And then I contacted my colleague, Professor Magdalena Stoeva in Bulgaria, to join me as a co-editor. And then I contacted my very extensive international network of colleagues, collaborators, and friends. And eventually we managed to have 17 chapters, 91 contributors from 39 countries. And we tried to achieve geographic distribution and gender balance. And we have 36% of female authors. Also from a junior early career physicist down to the very senior consultants to be part of this book. So we have regional experiences from Asia Pacific, from Africa, the Middle East, from Latin and Caribbean, North America, and the Africa. We also have chapters from the editors of the major medical physics journals, a chapter on the early career physicist experiences from the International Organization of Medical Physics point of view, also from education and training and research. And last but not the least is the one important chapter on communicating leadership in a time of adversity. So that was the background of this book. And we are also well aware of the WHO always been advocating solidarity. And this is exactly what we want to do, solidarity in combating this pandemic. And with that, we also have been our aim to promote diversity as well as inclusiveness. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the CRC Press for the great support in publishing this book in such a record time, starting from the contract in August 18, and today is unprecedented. And I thank particularly Rebecca Davis. She is the physics commissioning editor who believed in me, willing to have this extremely fast-track record book. And Kirsten Barr, the editorial assistant. Also, we have Suzanne Lasandro, the production editor. We also have Christy Kennedy, the marketing executive based in Singapore. And also with us today, we have Intan Surya, the marketing executive, CRC Press based in Kuala Lumpur. So I thank all of you for the great support. And I would like to end my speech by reading to you the last paragraph of the preface which we wrote. We eagerly look forward to the end of this pandemic. We sincerely hope that humanity will learn to be responsible and caring stewards of the planet Earth. Hard times will give rise to opportunities, and let the difficulties that we all pass through today become the basis for better development and progress and recognition of our profession. And now I'd like to invite my co-editor to tell you the rest of the story and more details of the book. Thank you very much.
Prof. Magdalena, Prof. Stoeva from...
Dear colleagues and friends, dear honorable guests, first of all, let me express my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this wonderful event. Despite the difficulties, we're all here to celebrate once again the strength of the medical physics. And of course, this is just another proof that there are things that are not impossible for Professor Hoong. The past 12 months turned our world upside down. Our personal and professional lives have been torn apart by the global pandemic. The concept for a book developed by Prof. Hoong on medical physics during the COVID-19 pandemic came right on time to summarize the contribution of medical physicists and to strengthen our global community during the times of crisis. It was an honor for me to accept Professor Hoong's invitation and to become a co-editor of this really important book that sets another milestone in the development of medical physics, as well as in solving the issues arising from the pandemics. So the idea of the book was embraced not only by me, but also by numerous of medical physicists throughout the world. So we, in a very short period of time, we managed to get a team of 91 contributors from 31 countries, which very enthusiastically embraced the idea of having such a book on medical physics. And this slide actually represents our development, our contributors team. And it also shows our idea when selecting our contributors. We have been trying to reach global scale, but also a regional focus. So this was our winning team selection strategy, which, as I mentioned, ended up with 91 contributors from 39 countries. So the project quite easily turned into a platform for collaboration and for experience sharing, both at horizontal and vertical level. And we managed to select an excellent set of leading contributors based on another rule that we implemented, and it was expertise and experience sharing. So we managed to bring aboard some of the world's leading medical physicists in their specialties, in their disciplines. Let me present you our leading contributors, each of one leading one of the 17 chapters of this wonderful book on the role of medical physicists during the COVID-19 pandemics. Apart from this, of course, we have been very concerned about proper balance and about proper coverage of our contributors. So in order to reach the right balance, we put a lot of effort in this area, and this chart here will show you our balance, all in terms of contributors, leading contributors, and editors, male to female balance. Our whole focus during the editorial process has been diversity and balance of our profession in all its aspects: professional, geographical, gender, clinical, and academic, as well as experience sharing, and last but not least, contribution to healthcare. And in my final words, let me express my special thanks to all our contributors for their promptness and for their expertise. Also to all the institutions that supported the book in these really difficult times, to the International Organization for Medical Physics, and to the publisher, CRC Press, Taylor and Francis, for their support during the editorial process and for making it possible to hold the book in our hands only a few months after the idea came up. This is really a remarkable publishing speed. And once again, thank you all for attending today's live launch of the book, Medical Physics During the COVID-19 Pandemics, Global Perspectives in Clinical Practice, Education, and Research. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Stoeva. We would now like to show a short video message from Dr. Sunil Nair, who is the Editorial Director for Science and Medicine for CRC Press.
Hi everyone, my name is Sunil Nair and I'm the Editorial Director for Science and Medicine at Taylor & Francis. Today I'd like to offer my hearty congratulations to Professor Kwan Hoong and Professor Magdalena S on the publication of the hot off the press book, Medical Physics During the COVID-19 Pandemic. Their efforts as editors to put together the book on a short time frame so it contains the latest information and resources about the pandemic are truly valuable. Theirs is the first book to discuss how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected clinical practice, education, and research in medical physics, and how colleagues on the front line dealt with the pandemic. Their book is a truly global effort. There were 91 contributors from 39 countries presenting a global perspective of the event. All the affected regions in the world were represented, including Asia Pacific, the Middle East, Europe, Africa, and North and Latin America. Knowledge dissemination is important at all times, but perhaps more so in times of crisis. We think book publishing has a strong role to play in the dissemination of information and education for the next generation of medical physics researchers and professionals. And so once again, I'd like to thank and congratulate Professors Ng and Stoeva and the chapter contributors for their efforts in producing this wonderful book, Medical Physics During the COVID-19 Pandemic. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to invite our guest of honor for this book launch, architect Saifuddin bin Ahmad, to first of all say a few words and then officially launch the book.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dr. April, Dean Faculty of Medicine, University of Malaya. Professor Dr. Kwan Hoong, Professor Dr. Magdalena Stoeva, Dr. Sunil Nair, distinguished guests, professors, doctors, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all turning in today, wherever you are. I'm most honored to be invited to launch this book, Medical Physics During the COVID-19 Pandemic, Global Perspective in Clinical Practice, Education and Research, a book edited by Professor Kwan Hoong and Professor Magdalena Stoeva and published by CRC Press. This event is being done according to the new normal, complying to strict SOP, something that would be held differently if not for the pandemic. But then again, if not for the pandemic, this book would not be published. This pandemic has greatly affected everyone throughout the world and have yet to know when it will end. For the past year, since the pandemic started, in actual fact, today is the first anniversary the country launched the MCO. The various professions throughout the world have started to look into areas on how to address the pandemic and how to improve the lives of the people, communities, and the environment. If I can sidetrack a bit, but at the same time still talking on the pandemic, coming from the architecture background and being one of the Vice President of ArcAsia, or Architects Regional Council Asia, our council too have actually come out with a book on Asia COVID-19, Guidelines for Built Environment Intervention, which was recently launched. At the same time, as the name suggested, it covers the various aspects of the effects of built environment. Each member of the council, we are looking into localizing the book to suit the country. In fact, my institute, Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia, actually is looking into localizing it. I'm personally involved. Yesterday, I met up with the CEO of Construction Industry Development Board, Dr. Asri, to look into how we can move forward on this. And this particular guidelines actually encompasses all sectors, inclusive of medical and health. And as such, I would see how actually this book that has been published can work together on the guidelines that I just mentioned earlier. I was informed that this particular book that will be launched today focus on issues faced by medical physicists and identifies the areas that medical physics feel can dedicate their attention to. Contribution, as mentioned earlier, are from scholars from different countries throughout the world, and I will not indulge in content of the book as it's beyond my field of expertise. But however, I could understand the amount of work and the pressure that's put in compiling all the information from the various countries. And on that aspect, I would like to congratulate the whole team for coming up with this book. I hope this book will also be a catalyst not only for the medical physicists, but also an inspiration to other scholars of different disciplines in the medical fraternity in addressing issues facing our community, nation, and civilization affected by COVID-19 in their respective field. I applaud this initiative, Education and Research, edited by Professor Kwan Hoong and Professor Magdalena Stoeva.
How's chapters coming along?
Well, they are doing pretty good. We have
some inputs from many authors, and I think it will turn into a very good book.
Yeah, it's making fine progress. It's a very exciting book for the whole medical physics community.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what our community needs. The COVID-19 has been around for about a year, and this is really the first book that will summarize the role of the medical physicist.